Redheads. Redheads.
So sick. So sick.
Redheads.
Welcome back to Redheads. I am your host, James Morris, and I am hosting the West Coast-based, Liverpool-focused footy podcast with my good mate. He's up there in the Pacific Northwest. His name is Ian Locke. Ian, why don't you introduce yourself?
What's up, y'all?
Well
Ian
said.
here. Ian here, co-hosting. It's good to be here, James.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here as always. Thank you for putting that little caveat in there. I thought I'd start the show a little differently because Liverpool started the day a little differently.
Hello.
We're recording a few hours after Liverpool just spanked Marseille at the Stade Velodrome. Very cool name for a stadium. 3-0. Could have easily been 5 or 6, to be honest.
Should have been way more, yeah.
They played well, but it's in the same game week after they were booed at home following a 1-1 draw against Burnley. It's been a real Jekyll and Hyde sort of performance.
It's been topsy-turvy.
It's been topsy-turvy. It's been slotty-outy a little bit, but now we're maybe a little bit more slotty-inny. So
who knows? The temperature it varies.
Yeah, it's
with
tepid.
These Liverpool fans.
It's tepid, I would say.
It's definitely tepid.
Especially with the online fans. I would count myself amongst the online fans. I famously West Coast based, not making my way to Anfield super often. Ian, I think you're in pretty much the same boat.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've just renounced my online fan base. I just deleted my Twitter account, I guess, I guess that's what constitutes a online fan. But it felt good. And I did it right after the Burnley game because everything I was seeing was just like pretty volatile, and I was just kind of sick of it. So I thought, what better time than now?
I didn't know that either. This is breaking news for me.
Especially given that, again, I don't know what your perspective is, but like watching the game, I'm assuming, right, that it's extremely different than being inside the ground watching live. I thought we played pretty well against Burnley. I was kind of surprised at the booing, given the result, the way it ended. I guess so, but I think it was more of a last straw, given the amount of draws we've had in the last 7 games, rather than this particular performance. But yeah, like I said, the Burnley game drew out the worst of the worst on Twitter, and I said goodbye to that.
It truly did. I mean, and it drew out the boos at Anfield, which surprised me.
I know.
Much in the way that you were surprised, because I thought the performance was actually pretty decent. It was certainly the best performance of those draws. But look, a big show for you guys today. When I say you guys, I mean our dads. But we're going to talk Burnley. We're going to talk Marseille. We're going to talk the boos, the lack of movement in the January transfer window as Gehi follows Semenyo to Manchester, and we'll talk slot pressure at the end and what is going to happen over these next couple of weeks. So let's just get into it, actually.
Never boring. Let's do it.
It was never boring. It's boring sometimes. About after the 60th minute, it gets a little bit boring. So let's talk about, before the first whistle, the selection against Burnley. I guess it was pretty straightforward.
I don't think, besides, I guess, Jones being in the lineup rather than like McAllister. That's
I'd say that's the only real call he made. I guess he could have started Jones and McAllister and kept Cody Gakpo on the bench, but that's not really a move that he likes to make.
Right. I think the team that we're seeing now is pretty much the out and out first team with the absences of like Salah and Isak.
Yeah, I think so too. This is the Reds from now until May at least. That's
what it looks like.
And I thought that they started the game well. I think it was 2 or 3 minutes in when Kirkez, all out of nowhere, beats his man on the left wing, finds himself in acres of space in the box, elects not to shoot, which, look, he's not a forward, but he really should have shot in that situation, I think. But it was encouraging right away.
But he plays is that the chance where he played a pretty good ball? It was either to Wirtz or Ekitike, I don't remember.
I think it was to Ekitike, but it gets cut out. It doesn't actually.
Right, but
no, it's a good cross.
I was going to say, man,
in the corridor of uncertainty.
That's right, and I think he's very good in that situation. Him and Frimpong. I'm really, really. I mean, we've given our flowers to Frimpong the last few episodes, But
He's getting some
Kirkez,
more today.
Kirkez is very much. I'm warming up to him. He looks up for it.
Look, green
And
shoots.
this performance too, and the one against Marseille, I think both were just like pretty good indicators of kind of the skill set that he has, which is just like he can bomb forward and he can put in a sometimes good cross.
And he is decent defensively, which I just did not
He's great
expect.
defensively. Yeah.
Yeah, we've sort of fallen ass backwards into Liverpool of 2019, where our star performers are fullbacks. We've gone from Robbo and Trent to
Right.
Kirkez and Frimpong. I mean, it's so nice to see, given where we started. Frimpong has been in and out of the side, Bradley in and out of the side, and also not playing so well when he's in the side. Kirkez, of course, was getting reamed by everyone, myself proudly at the front of that vanguard, talking about sort of the Hungarian golem.
Right.
And it's water off a duck's back. I mean, the way that he's been playing the past couple of weeks, he looks like he could be at least the left back for the rest of the season.
I mean, he definitely looks like he has secured that first choice spot. After everyone was talking about putting Robertson back in the team, I think Kirkez is now kind of the solidified first choice.
I think so too. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, things start well. There's the Kirkez cross. There's a couple of Gakpo catches that get cleared off the line, and then there's the penalty.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I think it was pretty soft, but
yeah.
I think all things considered, we were supposed to be the dominant team. We're playing Burnley, who of I think the three promoted teams is probably the worst of the three, given their standing in the table and also just overall, depth of the squad.
But just not a very good team.
They're just not very good. And I think like the expectation was we were going to be pretty dominant, have the majority of the chances. And yeah, that penalty, I don't know. I mean, the defender does dangle a foot out, and there is some slight contact on Gakpo. I would be annoyed if that was given against Liverpool, but hey, I won't ever say no to a penalty. Come on.
Well, Dom did say no to a penalty. It looked like he wanted to take it as perfectly as could be taken.
It was a good penalty. There's a lot of power on it. It hits the bar.
Well, it's a bad penalty. If it's not on target, it's a bad penalty.
Okay, but I've seen worse penalties. I'll say that. But yeah, it was annoying given how his last few games have gone. I think it was another kind of just a little groan in terms of the overall.
He's getting a little big for his britches, I would say.
That's what people have been saying. Yeah,
he has been playing like he's the best player on the pitch, which may be true, but
he's playing like he wants the captaincy a little bit.
Well, if that's the case, it's sort of slipping through those grubby fingers right now. The back heel against Barnsley, followed by the penalty. Look, everybody can miss a penalty, but right. He's just playing a little bit over his station, let's say. Right. But even that I'm being a little bit harsh. But you're right. Against Burnley, we're expected to be the dominant side, but we have already played Burnley once. We have not been the dominant side against Leeds. So it's refreshing to see that the expectations were high and we were meeting them.
Right. And I think, like with that penalty miss, it wasn't like we were playing Arsenal, where like that was our only chance to get ahead of this game. You kind of assumed, I mean, that was like, in the 30th minute? You kind of assumed there was going to be like waves of attack after attack after that chance. So, I mean, it was annoying, but Salah has missed penalties and we won those games. So it wasn't really like oh God, that was our only chance for the rest of the evening, which obviously it was not.
Right. I mean, we really kept the pressure on, and then 10 minutes later, another firecracker from Flo. This finish might have been even better than the one he had against Barnsley. I was really impressed.
It was way better because he goes near post rather than far. Like, given where he was and how a shot kind of lined up, you thought he was going to go far post. Goes near post and kind of surprised the keeper. I think the keeper still dives the right way, but it was a fantastic finish. And yeah, he is really growing into this free role that has been given to him.
Yeah, and the build-up play was really nice too. Ekitike does really well to beat a man and get to the byline, and then Curtis with the composure to play the pass. I mean, it was deliberate. That wasn't just played into space. He was playing it to Florian, right? And Florian, returned the favor.
And then Ekitike again, really showing kind of the shades of like Firmino, just like with the being able to press, win the ball back. He goes all the way to the past the defender, and then like you said, Jones able to tee it up to Florian, but it was all Hugo in that build up. for that goal. It was awesome.
It was awesome, and it's a Hugo Florian combination again. Starting to see that come up
Amazing.
a lot more often, and I can't wait to see more of it for the rest of the year. And so then we get to halftime. After we score, we really put our foot off the gas. We score in
Yeah.
the 41st, I think it is. So there's really
Yeah.
not that much time left, but it's a little disappointing to have Burnley that much on the ropes and just sort of let them off the hook.
Yeah, there was a lot of chances that just like it was either the final ball not going or the ball kind of bobbles away from Beerts or whoever. Or there was a lot of shots right at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper had, saved a bunch of shots too. So it was just an annoying performance in the attacking third where you're like, we need to put some of these away because even though we are dominating, we're still pretty fragile in the defensive end.
We're fragile, and it's a 1-goal lead, which of course
Right.
becomes a no-goal lead early in the second half. We really just fall apart. These 5 minutes of madness, I mean, it was completely predictable and yet still so
Yeah.
frustrating to see. Um,
It's annoying when you don't have like a true center defensive midfielder because you can like especially with this goal that we'll talk about from Marcus Edwards from Burnley. You know,
well, let's talk about it
Gravenberch
now.
our Gravenberch is our number 6 supposedly, but man, he kind of felt a little anonymous in this game. I don't really remember seeing him do that much defensively, and with this too, it kind of seemed like everyone was kind of just it felt like everyone was just so open. Nothing was getting closed down, and Burnley were just really, real. It was very, very easy for them to like kind of cut right through us, which led to the Edwards goal where he was just on the left hand side and he's able just to take a shot and score. It was annoying.
Yeah, and for the 5 minutes or so leading up to the goal, it just felt completely inevitable that Burnley were going to score. There's nothing we could do,
Yeah,
and that's the way exactly the way that it played out.
it's also yeah,
Go ahead. I was going to say the
it's
marking is poor. It's so easy to play through us, and then when he's taking that shot, he's in acres of space in the box.
yeah, and
It's
it's their first shot. It's their first shot on target, and it's their goal. And it's like that's another thing too, where it's like we kind of keep shooting ourselves in the foot. Where you know we finished the game with 32 shots, 11 of those being on target, and a bunch of those were also like McAllister from like 30 yards out. But then Burnley have only 7 shots with the one on target being the goal, and like that disparity. We should have at least had 3 or 4 goals this game, and we just couldn't finish our breakfast. And then time and time again, we just open the door, we get bored, let them play, and then there you go. They're able to score on a counter, or not even a counter, just on anything, on any chance.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't need a transition. They just have possession for a few minutes, and there's nothing we can do about it. And you're right to call out the fact that it's their one shot on target. We have 11, and we just can't finish anything. Although I will say, sort of like you mentioned up top, it is nice to be complaining about having the chances and missing them after the Leeds game, after the Arsenal game, where possession is ultimately pretty
Yeah,
innocuous. There are no chances. We're not missing chances. We just aren't even creating them.
right.
Which is really calls back to what you were saying before, where this is actually a pretty decent performance, but it was
It was
not the
just
result that we
it was just
that
a
we needed.
frustrating performance too, where like, I think you could have cut them some slack if they were up 3 goals at halftime and kind of put their foot off the pedal a little bit. Like, there's not that much rotation happening in the squad. We don't really have the subs to cover a lot of ground. Um, but the fact that they weren't able to do this just kind of just really messes them up. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like whenever they face any adversity, they kind of just capitulate. And then there you go with those like 5 minutes you were saying that were just like kind of a scramble. They just could not get a hold of the game, and it cost them.
Right, and it looks a lot like how things looked at the end of the game against Wolves and at the end of
Hmm.
the game against nine-man Spurs, where there's just no way that we can grab a foothold, keep possession. I mean, complete passes, certainly going
Right.
forward. And it looks like the team, more than anything, is missing, a Hendo type or certainly like a Wijnaldum in the midfield, somebody who can just put their foot on the ball.
And it was just interesting too. After we concede that goal, I mean, we do have some chances, but it didn't really feel. And like we'll get into the Marseille game where that one felt like the tempo was turned up to 11. Even when we were trying to regain a lead, players like Shabazai would kind of slow it down. You could feel like they would have
Yep.
their foot on the ball a little bit longer than you'd want them to, and like really try to like find the pass rather than kind of putting the onus on Burnley to kind of, you know what I mean? Like there was just
Yeah, just
no
giving them as much
impetus.
time as they could possibly have to get back.
Yeah, to rebuild their shape, and obviously we knew they were going to be, defensively sound, and we just gave them all the time in the world to get back in their shape and defend for their lives, which they did really, really well.
Yeah, the number of times Sabazlai mostly, but just in general, we had opportunities to counterattack quickly and just slowed the ball down, seemingly out of fear of getting transitioned back, you know, leading to a counter for Burnley.
Yeah.
Um, it was infuriating to watch, and it was ultimately I think what led to the booing at the end of the game. Not that it
Right.
was, it wasn't a resounding all across Anfield, but there were pockets, and
Right.
I can't think of the last time that really went on. It reminds me of, I don't know, 2014
Well,
or 2018.
a
Go
lot
ahead.
of people were saying that, yeah, it's definitely been a while. Definitely like during the oh god, well, who were the owners before FSG? The other American, Hicks and
Hicks
Gillette.
and Gillette. Yeah.
Yeah, or like the Hodgson era too, right? But yeah, I think it was just like the performances besides, I guess you could say Arsenal, like have been pretty dour and a little
Yeah.
just like not fun to watch. And like when you're giving up giving up a late goal to Fulham, when you're just drawing at home to Leeds, like these aren't really awe-inspiring performances. So I think it's just kind of everyone's getting a little sick and tired of what they've been watching.
Yeah. There's just no urgency, no inspiration really from the team. And we haven't seen it in the league for, more than a month now. I guess the exception being the Arsenal game. But even then, we were the
That's
better
also an
team.
away perform. That's away from home, and we were the underdog, right?
Yeah.
Like this game is completely different because we were supposed to, on paper, dominate completely.
Yeah, and it felt like the winner was just never coming. I don't think I thought, well, I could say I didn't think that Burnley looked like they'd score, but certainly watching the game, you're thinking that it's more likely Burnley will score a winner than we will.
Well, the thing that's makes you nervous about Liverpool is once the Burnley gets that goal, then their tails are up, and that makes Liverpool way more like it as a fan, it makes you scared because you just feel like, okay, well, there's chances, especially with, you know, I think Konate actually has had a few good games. I thought he was really good against Arsenal, but he definitely has a mistake again in him. And
Right, he just
um,
about scored a really impressive own
honestly,
goal.
I was gonna say that was actually that was a pretty good piece of defending where he almost nicks an own goal. But yeah, man, even like players like Allison too were really annoying. Like I think a few he had a few kicks out that just went straight to Burnley players, and they were able to counter on that. And I think one of those was the lead up to that Marcus Edwards goal, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely one of those was when Konate had to basically put it out for a corner. But yeah, just like everyone was just a little bit nervous, and it was just not what you like to see from the champions.
And really not sure where it came from. And it's on the back of the
Yeah,
Arsenal
it's just
game
yeah,
and the Barnsley win.
they let them get back to the game, and then they just forgot to reassert whatever you know anything any foothold.
Any foothold. Well, last little bit I want to say about this game is the substitutions certainly didn't help, but it's just so glaring how lacking we are up front when you take off Cody Gakpo and the only attacking substitute we can really put on is Rio, a 17-year-old who's played all of 90 minutes complete across his, Premier League history.
Yeah, like him and Chiesa just uh it's we'll get into the transfer stuff. It's pretty absurd uh given like those are our backup options until further notice. And yeah, Chiesa, I think the shine has kind of been buffed off him a little bit. People loved his song, people loved him as a person, but now like you watch him play, and yes, he's only given like 3 minutes, but
Right,
he's
he
just
comes on in the
he kind of just
87th.
he kind of feels a little like headless chicken in areas, and
He's a
and
bit of a blunt
Ingamoa's
instrument.
yeah, and Ingamo is a child, and it's just like okay, like the Newcastle moment was spectacular, but what are expectations from him? Like I don't know. Like they seem to have they seem to think the world of him because they won't sign another player to play in that position because they don't want to block his pathway, his progression. But
Right, which is
it's
just ridiculous when we're talking about, again, a 17-year-old. I mean, you block him for 3 years, and then he breaks through at 20, which is still a really young forward.
right, yeah. But we're lucky that we have Ekatike. We're lucky that he is pretty much firing. He had a disallowed goal this game, which was kind of annoying because was it a handball? I don't, or was it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
offside? So stuff like that's annoying.
Well,
But
I think they called it offside during in live play, but ultimately it came off
okay,
his arm. Yeah.
yeah. But I really thought that was it. I thought without seeing any replay. But once they flagged it off initially, it was or immediately. But yeah, there's that, and then like what else happened? I think McAllister had a pretty late chance too. There's a few
Yeah,
moments that
McAllister
we
took
could
a
have put it
shot
away.
right at the end, like 97th minute. But McAllister, I mean, we'll come on to him too, I think. He's not having his best season. He just doesn't look
He's
a threat.
not. No, he doesn't. And yeah, he keeps taking these shots from like outside the box,
But
which
not just outside the box. I mean, it is like 35 yards.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like just and those
He's
are just
West
like
Coast
hit and
based as
hope.
well.
They're just hit and hope, and it's like when players are just shooting from that far out, you kind of are just like, let's just wrap it up.
I
Just
mean, they're
blow the
telling
whistle
you
now.
exactly what they think
Yeah.
about the build-up play. They don't believe that we're going to create a chance, so they might as well.
I don't know if you saw. Did you see there's a clip that was going around of Jones and Arne Slot. I think it was for this game, and they were kind of barking at each other. I think Slot was telling Jones to be in a position, and then Jones, like just by reading lips, said like that's the same position. Like he was just like there just seemed to be a disconnect in terms of just ideas and plans, which was not not nice to see, especially if you're like kind of hoping that Slot turns us around. You're just like, oh, now the players
Right.
are a little
It's the
perturbed by
the first sort of public evidence that there might be some
right.
discord behind the scenes. But I mean, speaking of discord behind the scenes, it's really not a transition that I'm trying to make. But let's move along from Burnley to Marseille, where I think the selection speaks for itself, or at least the notable piece of it. Mo is back from AFCON, and he came right back into the team. I was expecting him, honestly, not to make the trip.
Yeah, I was surprised that he was on. Yeah, like you said, I was surprised to just see him back in the starting lineup. I think in the press conference before the game, Saul was pretty like he was like adamantly very excited that he was back with the team. Like they posted training photos and what have you. Um, but yeah, I was excited. I really wanted Mo to just play some minutes after having a pretty sad outcome in AFCON. But yeah, it was good. And it's also truly just nice to have another option, another attacking option for Liverpool.
Right. I mean, and that comes into play later in this game too. But I thought Mo, before getting too far ahead of ourselves, he looked pretty good. He certainly looked fit.
Yeah,
He doesn't have
he
the
definitely
problem that
asserted
everyone
himself.
else in the 11 has, where he's just can't run after 60 minutes. He looks like he didn't miss a step at all flying to where was it, in Morocco? AFCON this year? I think it was Morocco.
Somewhere there, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He had a pretty good time against Murillo,
Murillo, yeah.
their left back. Yeah, he looked capable, and I don't know if you want to get into like the lineup because it was different than Burnley, and it was kind of like it was a 4-2-2-2. So it was kind of like a box formation. And when you saw Liverpool without the ball, it was almost like a front four of Wirtz, Ekatike, Salah, and Szoboszlai, almost like just a straight line. It was pretty interesting to see, but yeah,
Yeah,
it
watching
was
the game, I was kind of having a hard time even making heads or tails exactly what the formation was because, yeah, Szoboszlai was almost playing a false nine or a
yeah,
full nine out of position, leading the press certainly, and then Wirtz nominally on the left, but he drifts all over the show like we've been talking about. He's in that, super 10 role.
yeah.
But even Gravenberch and McAllister, at certain times they were sort of equally deep, but then certain times it seemed like McAllister was actually deeper more often than Gravenberch was.
Yeah,
Hammerspark.
yeah, and this was De Zerbi. He is the manager for Marseille. So, and he's like his teams are pretty like very aggressive, and
Yep.
it seemed like
Yep.
we were doing like a man-to-man defending, a man-to-man marking rather. And I feel that paid dividends too. I feel like defensively, I thought this was probably one of our better games. Even from the midfield too. I thought McAllister had a great game. I thought Joe Gomez was back in the lineup. He looked great too. I thought defensively, we looked pretty solid, I would say. And even though Marseille did have a few chances on the counter, I thought we just pretty much dealt with them pretty well.
Yeah, I thought so too. Going into this game, it's all about exactly like you're saying. A De Zerbi team, they do almost that like total football,
Yeah,
Dutch positions don't matter. You're just 11 guys on the pitch. I
right.
mean, pretty
Yeah,
early on, the Ben Pavard, the
I was gonna
French,
say
yeah,
he was like playing left, like he was playing like you'd see him in the 9 on the right wing. He was just everywhere, was popping up everywhere.
right. And apparently he's a center back, which is news to me. Uh, but yeah, I mean, given what we got against Burnley, all the way down to the booze at the end of the season, at the end of the game, excuse me, after the final whistle, and then the week of hey, Xabi's available, Slot's not getting it done, and then I
Right.
don't know if you caught the question about during the press conference, someone asked Slot, what does he think about Xabi coming in?
Yeah.
Essentially,
Did he just say like that was a strange question, or what did he say? Like
first he went. I think he said something like, "Oh yeah, Xabi called me and said he'll be here in 6 months," and
that's
like
so fun.
sort of made a joke about it.
He's
He
Dutch,
he
man.
he, he handled it pretty well, but it's a
Yeah.
ridiculous thing to be asking.
It's so rude. I feel so bad for just like anyone in that position. Honestly, like any manager, it seems like one of the worst jobs, especially when you're not doing well.
Right, right. When it's not just all rosy in the garden, it's
Right.
really not rosy. It's a lot of thorns. But the performance really out of nowhere. Well, I was gonna say out of nowhere, given the Burnley game, but it's not really the case, right? We've been so
I
much
don't think
better in
so.
Europe.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I think we've said this before. This team is built for Europe. And it's our team is very good against teams that want to play. Against teams like Burnley, where they just sit back and they'll hoof a ball up and we don't win the 50-50 ball. There's a weird bounce. Like you know what I mean? Like stuff like that where it's like very for whatever reason this season it's very hard for us to handle. But with
Yep,
teams like
yep.
Marseille, where they're extremely open, and this game was essentially a basketball game. It was so back and forth. It was very fun to watch. But yeah, I think we have just way more of a handle on those. And I think we are able to like games like this, we can slow it down at our pace if we wanted to. And it won't really be to our detriment. Where again, like I said, with like teams like Burnley, if you slow the game down, they're going to be able to reset and kind of regroup. But when you play Marseille, it's kind of doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly right, and it remains to be seen whether or not we'll have. I guess what I'm saying is I don't think this performance means we're out of the water against someone like a Burnley next time they come up.
No,
But it's
I
so
mean
refreshing to see. Go ahead.
we play Bournemouth this week, and that'll be the real game, the
Bournemouth
real
should.
test.
I'm really looking forward to this one because Bournemouth, and I mean, at least until they sold Semenyo, who knows how they're going to perform now? But they're wide open. Those games are absolute madness. We won 4-2 when we went there earlier this
That's
season.
right. It was the first
For
game, wasn't it?
it was the first game. That's right. And then Man U just had a 4-4 draw with them. I think that they just barely scraped or almost scraped a draw against Man City 3-2. Either way, it's a wild team. They don't sit back. They're going to play football. So this
Yeah,
weekend should be fun. But back on Marseille, what I was going to say is it's nice. You said
Marseille.
something interesting, which was it was fun to watch. I can't remember the last time I
Dude,
thought a game was fun to watch.
I know, and I think that all credit to Marseille too. I mean, like truly, like they were bonkers. They were fun to watch. And dude, I think having Salah back in this team, and I think having Wirtz in this like weird like I guess he was playing on the left. Like everyone kind of almost
He's a left and a
shifted.
half.
Yeah. Uh we were counterattacking. There was like a few moments we had a lot of breakaway chances, which was just like things I have not seen in a very long time.
Right. The counterattacking was fluid. I mean, it was pretty frustrating how often right at the edge of the box things would break down, but how
Yeah.
quickly we got to the edge of the box was really
Right.
refreshing and something we haven't seen in weeks. But I
And we
was
still
just,
kept taking those chances,
well,
like
that's right.
I,
Yeah.
f- I feel like, you can, I don't think we have that much practice right now, in game practice of having counterattacks get pulled off. So I think we have to mess up a few times. And I think the real key is just to keep trying.
Right,
Just keep trying,
you need
everyone.
reps. You just need reps.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of reps, Shabazla has, taken a few free kicks this season, and he's
Sure
lost
has.
another one. That was beautiful, under the wall. Haven't seen that one in a while. I think Coutinho was the last time a Liverpool player went under the wall, like 2017, 2016. It's been a minute.
This is the first time I've never seen the other team not have someone like laying down,
some lazy ass laying down behind the wall,
taking a quick nap.
And now you can see exactly why they do it.
Exactly. It was awesome. I loved that. It was such a little squeaker. I don't even know what you would call that. It didn't seem like there was a lot of power behind it. They just you kind of just.
I think a squeaker is exactly right. It just sort of moused its way through to the bottom corner.
People call them pee rollers,
worm burners.
I've heard this. Worm burners.
Worm burners, yeah.
Worm burners.
Worm burners. I haven't heard pee roller, but I like it now. And I like seeing it.
The rural juror.
The rural juror. Dom goes from sort of evil to, I was going to say evil to hero, but zero to hero on these dead balls. Just get him off the pens. If it's about 25 yards out, that's his job.
I know now with Salah being on pens, I'm like, he's not really good at them either. You missed his AFCON, so we'll see. I think maybe Flo, or maybe the striker, the person whose job it is to score the goals, will take the penalties. But
look, I haven't seen Ekatika take a pen, but he does not strike me as the pen boy.
You don't think so?
As the pen.
He also hits the bar too, so we'll see.
He hits the bar. He hits the bar today.
But yeah, man. Again, Shabazz has had quite the few weeks, and dude, he's truly carried us at least the first 4 months of the season.
Yep.
And he it's nice to have someone in the team who kind of has that capability of scoring a free kick, because besides Coutinho, Steven Gerrard, I can't really think of any other, Trent, it's nice to have another person.
Trent could hit him. Yeah. We've actually been pretty spoiled because there's really no, gaps between. Yeah.
Right. I was saying I don't remember.
Gerrard to Coutinho to Trent to Szoboszlai is actually pretty incredible. I don't know how often what the average club in the Prem, how many free kicks they score, but I'm sure that there are teams that score 0 in a season.
Absolutely. I mean, I've never scored one in FIFA, so there's that.
Well, you're always going for power, and it's really about placement.
I just pass it, and then I try to I just pass it and try to see if someone can pick up the loose ball.
Well, that was a good pass to me, where I'm going to move right along. The other thing that was really nice about Mo coming back, besides having Mo in the team, in a team that won a game 3-0, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Is, it solves the problem that we just brought up about the Burnley game. We didn't bring on a 17-year-old with 15 minutes ago. We brought on a 25-year-old. How old is Gakpo? 26?
He must be 26. Yeah.
Yeah.
26.
And he looked like he was a little bit insulted to get dropped. He looked like he felt his place in the team is under threat, and he was great for 20 minutes.
Dude, I wrote this in my notes. Super sub ? I think if
we
had
I think exclamation point.
I think that's where we saw the best of him last year, when he was competing with a spot with Diaz. There was another player who was, just as good, if not better, and he kind of really had to step up his game. Whereas now you're seeing him for 90 minutes, and it's kind of wearing a little thin, where he does the same thing over and over again. Even we'll get to his goal. It's the same thing he always does, where he kind of cuts in and shoots it with his right, but this time he scored.
Well, he receives the ball so much closer to goal.
That's true too. He didn't. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, man, I thought he looked great for this whole cameo, and I think he looks a lot better off the bench. And I don't know if that's just because we only saw him for 20 minutes rather than tack on another 70 there. But yeah, I liked his performance, and he was aggressive too. He could have had a goal and an assist this game.
He was aggressive. He was, something that's tough to watch with Gakpo is that he's 6'4" and he plays like he's 5'4". He doesn't win headers. Right. He pulls out of challenges. Have good posture. He does have a bit of a slump or a slouch to him. He's got that scoliosis early onset, but like you're saying, this 20-minute cameo. I mean, that's more than a cameo. This 20-minute appearance, he was all over the pitch. He was making tackles, throwing shoulders, and he set up Mo with a beautiful takedown. It's not really something
Yeah.
that I've seen him do is like take a
Yeah.
ball out of the sky and play a good
Is like
pass.
use his height. Yeah,
Right.
that's the one thing that bothers me too. Also, you know what bothers me is that he takes corner kicks. He's like 6'4". Just get him in the box.
Well,
Like,
that's
what are
a
we doing?
testament to just how poorly he uses his size. It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
I don't think he knows his his height.
I don't think he knows his height.
No one's told
Well,
him.
he certainly doesn't know that he's slouching because
Right.
he's taller than he thinks. But
Does
yeah,
he have a significant other? Like, they would tell him if he's slouching, you know?
does he have a significant other? That's a great question. I can't imagine that he, cutting into the left, he's going to meet that many people. But look,
Try to place the dots on that one.
yeah, I'm just going to let it go.
Okay.
Uh,
Dude, can we talk about another Dutchie?
talk to me about him.
Frimpong.
Jeremy? That's the Dutch accent.
I love him. I love him so much. The dude, you can give the other guy like a 5-second head start and he will beat you with the ball at his feet. He's like, it's insane.
The goal he scores, I still don't really understand how he beats his man because it's exactly what you're talking about. I mean, the guy was 2 yards ahead of him, and he's only got 5 or 6 yards between where he is and the end line,
Yeah.
He just warps in front of this guy.
It's insane. He has warp speed powers. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
Beam
you
him
said,
up.
Huh?
I said beam him up.
Anyway,
Look at that. It's the new year. He's got a couple slinkers.
Yeah. I'm here for you. I just lost my train of thought, so I'm trying to. Here we go.
Yeah.
He beats
speed.
the man. Warp speed.
Yep.
Star Trek. He he beats the man, and he just pure sheer force of will just gets an own goal because he like his ability to pick out a pass still needs to be worked on. Like, his crosses are a little iffy, but he just creates chaos. Like, that's all. He's like kind of a chaos merchant, and we kind of need that too. We also need people in the box when he does this, but
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because his crosses could be a little bit more accurate. I agree, but the other thing is that they're often near post crosses, or someone needs to make a near post run. And we haven't had any forwards. Today is the first game we've had Mo back in a couple months, and he makes a near post run, and Frimpong finds him. There was a chance early in the first half, or maybe about 30 minutes in, where Frimpong beats his man, makes that same sort of near post cross, and it connects with Mo. It didn't go in because it was sort of an awkward height. I don't know if you saw that it came off of his sort of hip thigh.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
But just the fact that there was a forward there was so encouraging.
I mean, it makes all the difference, believe it or not.
Someone's got to be on the end of these crosses. Otherwise, no one's going to score them.
Exactly. But yeah, Frimpong was awesome, dude. And then it was very funny when he celebrated. I think he walked over to, this is before Gakpo came on. It was Gakpo and Jones. And he just looked like a Make-A-Wish kid because he looks like 5'3".
He's a little guy.
He's a little guy.
He's a little guy.
So it was just very funny to see his reaction because he just looked like I can die peacefully now because I scored a goal, or a goal, but
yeah,
who's counting?
Look, he created a goal, and he's created goals 4 or 5 times in the last month. It's been
he's on fire. What'd you think of Gomez? Real quick,
I actually think that Joe played really well. I also thought that he was he was good defensively, but then he was also really good sort of punching the ball into midfield. A lot of pace on his passes that we just haven't seen enough of. A quick ground pass is just, it sounds easy, but you just don't see it.
It's actually quite hard.
It sounds easy, but you don't see it. Anyway, Joe's performance was great.
They call those pee rollers.
They call them worm burners, but
yeah.
It just makes you bemoan his injury record. He would be up there with Van Dijk in terms of how we think of Liverpool, the pantheon of Liverpool center backs. If he was just fit since 2019.
I mean, that was the league-winning pairing in 1920. It was him. It was him and Van Dijk. So I was like really encouraged to see. Honestly, I was encouraged by everyone. Wirtz, I would say, didn't have his best game. He kind of looked a little. Like, given the fact that this was kind of a wide open game, I thought he would have a little bit more to say about
an impact.
it. Yeah, but he was a little. He was like a little sloppy on the defensive end too. There are a few players. I think Greenwood got past him a few times, and
Break a leg,
Traore, I
Greenwood.
think. Yeah, one of the worst people. But yeah, honestly, like again, just a pretty great performance all around. I was very encouraged.
Yeah, I think Verts sort of picked up the baton from Sabazlai of being way too nonchalant today.
Yeah, a little
He
bit.
was just, yeah, like you said, a little bit sloppy in possession, a little bit sloppy out of possession. But when, if maybe we want to call him our best player at this point, I'm not sure. But if your best player has a bad game and you win 3-0,
Still pretty good.
you're smoking. Smooth
I mean, and
sailing.
this, I don't know if this formation, this like 4-2-2-2-2, will be used in the Premier League. I doubt it will be because it just doesn't really give you that much defensive
Control.
solidity
Yeah.
or control. But I'd be interested, like you said, with playing against Bournemouth, a team that likes to play. I wonder if this is something that could be used in that game. Just because, again, everyone looked good, so why not just keep using it? I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I'm very curious just how Salah's going to be used going forward because his role really made sense in this
yeah,
2-2-2, like you're saying. He was a
he,
lot closer to, he was just narrower. He wasn't that wide.
I yeah, I think I don't know. I didn't watch any of the games really, but I think for the Egypt games, I think he played in a front two with him and Marmoush, if I'm not mistaken. So
I
I mean,
didn't
like
watch him either, so I'll take your word for it.
let's just assume I'm right. But yeah, I think
I
he's
assume
could
you're
be
right.
really, I think he could be really useful just as like in a front two or just playing right behind Ekatike, kind of like a little, just playing off his shoulder or something like that. I think that might be a nice little future for him.
I
We'll
think so
see.
too. And, he could still strike a ball really well, but he's not beating his man on the wing these days.
Well, don't tell him,
Yeah, I guess he
that.
can't always strike a ball really well.
Yeah,
That
a
was
true one of the worst misses I've ever seen. Gakpo was so mad at
the
him
face he made was
afterwards.
actually incredible.
Yeah. Gakpo, like you said, wins the ball out of the air. Again, this is like unicorn stuff. This doesn't happen. So he wins the
Right,
ball,
right.
blazed off to Salah. Salah's through on goal, and he hits
Well-weighted
it with,
pass.
yeah, hits it with was it his right foot? That was
The
the issue,
outside of
right?
his
Or no,
left. He shot with the
outside
outside.
of his
Yeah.
left foot. It went straight, just like probably missed the. I mean, it wasn't even
15 yards wide.
Yeah,
It was a
exactly.
throw-in, basically.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it was very infuriating. But other than that, Salah looked promising given how long of a break he has had from the team.
You got through it. And so did we.
I was.
And so did we. I mean, this puts us in a really phenomenal position to finish in the top 8. I think that we're 4th.
We're in 4th right now.
As things
We are.
stand. But we have 15 points. A draw,
Yeah,
of course, puts us down to 16, but there are 4 or 5 teams that can get to 16 points in the last game week. So, look, we've got Karabag at home. The thing is, like we're
that's it.
saying, they're going to perform like Burnley. I don't know anything about them. I've never seen them play, but they're not a good team.
They're not a great team. Are they from Azerbaijan, I think? Yeah. They are sitting in let's look right now. They're sitting in 18th. So they're in one of the playoff positions. So, they still have
18th
a
in
lot.
yeah.
Yeah, so they still kind of have a lot to play for too as well. So we'll see what happens. I mean, if they get a draw,
They're golden.
yeah, they're golden. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, if they set up defensively, we might be in for a long haul.
Right, and if we get a draw, and a couple of teams win, we do not have the goal difference after that PSV defeat to really take care of business.
Right. And I want to look at their other. I mean, they beat Karabag at home. They lost to Ajax. So they've had some. That's right. They drew against Chelsea. That was like the big game from that round. But yeah, I mean, they are where they are. So we just have to take care of business.
They
when we
are
get there.
where they are.
That's right.
Hey,
that's what I said.
And we are where we are, which is the West Coast. We're going to talk a little bit about the January transfer window, which is not on the West Coast, but way across the pond. I brought this up as if there's something to say. There's not. Except that Gahey, who was once taking photos in a Liverpool kit.
Yeah, he was literally in a uniform, I think. Or at least in the training gear.
Right. That was way back when, about August 31st. August is 31 days, I believe. Memory serves.
Right.
And now he's wearing sky blue He's one of the citizens. Apparently, he's getting 300K a week. I'm not sure exactly where that would put him in the wage structure, but I'm sure it's higher
That
than everyone besides Van Dijk and
that
Salah.
would make him, yeah, exactly. He would have earned more than Isak. I think Wirtz too. Just like all the players that are
Konate,
like, exactly. Yeah.
right.
So I
And when
think,
I say I don't know the wage structure, I know it well.
I mean, you just listed off a couple of players right there, so you know
No,
exactly what you're talking
I
about.
know
But
exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah, it's I think did on the last episode we said if this happened it would be completely embarrassing, and it is. It is
And
really
I'm embarrassed.
embarrassing. But the thing is like if you're a team like Man City that can offer a truckload of cash to another player and you can't really compete with that, like Liverpool, then I guess okay, hats off to you. I
Que
don't know, like
sera, sera. Yeah.
yeah, like the just the annoying thing is like the pivot from here for Liverpool. Like, what do we do? Are we going to just go into the rest of the season? Because we still have a lot to play for. We still need it. We are not a
We're
guaranteed
1 point
top four
clear in
place,
fourth.
right?
We haven't won a game
Uh,
for 4 weeks, so
that's right. Champions League, that is a competition that we can go far, far in. And we also have the FA Cup, which is like the lowest on the poll, but it's a trophy that
yeah,
we would like to
it's
win.
shiny.
So it's just annoying, given all this, that there doesn't seem to be any speculation of any other backups. And I feel like, and the thing that's weird is that if Gahey was the number one target defensively, then we probably would have just done it earlier in August.
In
The fact that he
August,
was
right.
so late makes you wonder if like he was actually the first choice. But I don't
I mean,
know.
I do think it comes down to this word Richard Hughes used, in which now everyone can't stop parroting, which is opportunism. I think that Gahey is not really the number one target. He was just in the last year of his deal. You can get
Right.
a 25-year-old England international, tough word to say, for 25, 30 million. And in that sense, he is great value.
Right.
You sign him for 30, you sign him to a 5-year contract, and the next day he's worth 60, 70.
Right.
And so it's a no-brainer. I think it was that more than the Van Dijk case where like, this is our guy. We're going to
Yeah,
move
he
heaven
was
and
the
earth to
one.
get him.
Right.
Right. Same with Allison. Um, and look, we've had experience in the past where we missed out on our number one target, got the second guy, and it was a home run. That, most obvious example being Mo Salah.
Right.
He's done pretty well for us. So you just, like you said, you're left asking yourself, who is that guy? Who is this next guy? Is it that guy Joel Ordonez? Is that his name? The Colombian defender?
Right. Yeah, from Bruges. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like you've just given off a few examples like why you should feel kind of um you know
Appeased.
positive about this, or just like appeased, or I don't know, or at least like confident. But this whole situation is annoying because also it is just the same thing every single year. Like the last center
Yeah.
back we bought was Konate, and that was, I guess that no, not that's not including Leone, but like the first,
The last
the
team
last top,
player. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and
And
that's a
before that was
position
Joel
that's
Matip for free.
right. So that's a pretty needy position for Liverpool because Van Dijk will have one more year on his contract. Gomez
He'll be
is kind
35.
of that too. Gomez is, you pray that he'll be healthy. And then Konate, we have no idea where his contract is at this point. So everything's up in the air. So like if anything this summer, which is what I assume is when we're going to be shopping, it'll have to be two at
It'll
this
have to
point.
be 2. I mean, you can argue for 3, to be honest. There's no way we're going to get 3. But you could easily see Konate leave and Joe Gomez leave as well. I think, is Joe Gomez's contract up? I think he's got one more year
I don't
after
know.
that. But
Yeah, I'm not
in
sure.
either case, this is the second time, I want to say, that Slot started him at center back this season. He clearly doesn't trust him. And I think that's kind of fair enough because of his
Yeah.
fitness record. But if you don't trust this guy at center back, then you need another one.
Yeah, and then it's also like, do you purchase a center back who can also play on either side, like either left back or right back too? Like given Connor Bradley's injury history too,
Yep.
or what is going to happen with Andrew Robertson? And why do they call him Andrew? But like,
Sir Andrew Robertson.
thank you. So like that's another thing to consider too. I also saw that Simicast might come back from his loan early. So I don't know
I
what
don't know if
that
he's getting
means.
many minutes in Rome.
So I don't know. Everything is up in the air. I would at this point I would be so surprised if we did end up signing anybody. Well, we have 10 days left. Yeah,
10
10 days
days
left in
left.
the window.
I don't think we're
Uh
even going to call back Harvey Elliott, and that's really making me irritated.
that's weird.
I don't get it. We could the role that Verts is playing, Harvey would do so well in it, and
In
then
this in
you just
this
get an extra body. We just need
in this
forwards.
formation that we just played, he would be fantastic in. He could play either side, either the Wirtz or the Szoboszlai role.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, he could honestly play Mo's role if we needed, if
Right.
it came down to it. And Isak's leg's broken. Get somebody in here who
Right.
we're not making money on Harvey this summer because Villa's not signing him. He's coming back either way. So get him in here, give him some substitute appearances. He'll score 3 goals, and we'll sell it for $40 million. I mean, it's that easy.
Yeah. You have it all planned out.
I have it all planned out. It's actually written right here in my outline.
Oh, I see
Word
that.
for word. This part is written too. I'm reading. I'm not actually just saying this. Uh, anyway, look, I don't know exactly what to make of the slot position now. Everything feels good after this win. We'll
Right.
see what happens this weekend. But this is what I'm thinking, and I
Uh-huh.
hate to say it, but celebrities die in threes, right? First, Semenyo goes to City. Second, Gahey goes to City. Third, Alonso goes to City.
Oh, that would be a disaster. I would hate
I
that.
agree. I
And
agree.
we talked about this too, where I think like Alonso doesn't seem like a sentimental person. Like he'll kind of take the job that he thinks is the best for his career.
Right.
So
Little
he's not going to
rat
say
fucker
no.
Alonso.
Right. He's not going to say no to City just because they're Manchester City. He's going to go there because he can see himself establishing a pretty solid career there, or furthering the one that he already has, obviously. So I don't. That would just be truly annoying. Again, and I've also I've heard things like, "Oh, are we not backing Slot this window because there's a chance that we can get Xabi?" I honestly, it's very annoying that he got fired from Real Madrid because now this is all everyone's talking about. I would just wish he would have stayed. It
Right.
would have been
Anytime we
so
drop
nice.
points, it's going to be
Yeah.
job talk.
So this is going to be the rest of the season for us, which is not nice. And at this point, like I don't really know where I stand with Slot. I would be lying if I said the games were enthralling because they weren't. Besides Marseille, fantastic game.
Well, that's just
But
it. I think that you've really hit the nail on the head. Even if we sort of turn things around in terms of results and finish comfortably fourth or even pass Villa for third, let's say, do we want to see this style of football again, next season? And
right.
that is where it almost doesn't matter
Or if
where
this
you
is
are.
the style, like we need to get more players that fit this style. We need to get more players that will help this team.
Be dull.
Yeah, exactly. But or just because I mean, we were a way more controlled team in his first season, and we all loved it. That's because we were winning, and now we're trying to be,
I do love to win.
controlled, but we're getting nothing out of it. So I don't know. Like I think it's again, and given all the circumstances of this season, it's like kind of hard to be like, all right, off with his head. Nothing's going to happen for the rest of the year. That's for sure. Like he's going to finish out the year, and I think depending on results, I think they'll make the decision then. But I'd be surprised if Xabi came in the summer. Honestly,
You would
Xabi.
be surprised if you did.
I would. Yeah,
But do you think that Slot will be the coach going into next season?
most
If
likely.
you're going to put the money on it now?
Most likely, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I probably agree, but
I just don't like.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I just don't like the ownership group isn't really that reactive. What did I say? Wait, what?
It just came out a little. The
ownership group. They're just not very reactive like that, or they don't.
Right, and that's something that I think is commendable.
Yeah, to a point.
You don't want to get into a Chelsea Man U situation.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think I don't know. I kind of
Or
want
God
him to
forbid,
stay.
Spurs.
Oh God. I want him to stay just because I also it's just kind of would be funny because now everyone's really annoyed at him, and I think the online fan base is so, the worst part of the team.
They
Or
can
the
go
worst
kick
part of
rocks. They just
they
go
can
kick rocks. Yeah.
But
Speaking of kicking rocks, I'm going to kick it over to you, Ian, for you
give
to
it to me.
kick it over to the massive redhead fandom, they're all wanting to know what they should do this week when they hear this episode.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna get this in your ear holes, and you're gonna think, if only I could, I don't know, follow them on some meta-based platform. Oh, fuck it. You can follow us on Instagram. It's Redheads Podcast. You can like and subscribe.
You
All the
can and you should.
you can and you should on all the podcast platforms.
It's
You
going
can
to make you
interact
feel
with
good.
us. You can, exactly. It will. It will. It gives you like kind of is what's like never mind. Anyway,
Happiness. I think you're looking for happiness.
I was gonna say like karmic, like for karma. Is it
Karmic,
karmic?
karmic,
Uh
cash.
Points. Yeah, exactly. Cars for cash. Yeah, you can follow us on Redheads Podcast on Instagram. Find us on all the podcast apps of your choice. Like and subscribe. You can like write little comments, I guess, on Spotify. That's really cool. You guys can do that if you want. We're also on YouTube. This is huge, guys. We're on YouTube, and we have little shorts and whatnot. Not the
Big
shorts that
shorts.
you
I would say
wear.
big shorts.
They're big shorts, and and they're fantastic. I don't know what to tell you. We're getting all sorts of interactions.
The engagement is through the roof on these
People
shorts.
saying, "Great shorts. I love these shorts."
People saying one leg at a time.
Well, exactly. And you know, people sometimes say, "Oh God, Jesus Christ, let's get out of here, James."
You want to get out of here?
Yeah.
Because I'm dying to know what people sometimes say.
Well, I had something in the chamber, and then
Then you misfired. There's a blank.
and then I misfired. Yeah, I'm
You tell me that you're
blanks
shooting
today.
blanks.
I am shooting blanks today.
Yeah, I could see that. Hey, everybody. Peace.
Peace.